What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Off the Gridiron, your Apollo HOU Houston Texans podcast. My name is Noah Outlaw. I'm one of your hosts as always, and as always, I'm here with Garrett Harrelson. What's up, brother?
What's going on, partner? How are you?
Dude, just living life,
And
as best we can.
yeah, I guess. And how is the beautiful chat? How are all these Texans/football fans? Because we
Yeah,
actually
man.
we actually get people that aren't Texans fans sometimes in here.
Yeah,
Believe
isn't
it or
that
not.
weird? Isn't that weird?
Uh,
What
no,
would you?
because
What are you
that's
doing
that's
with your time?
that's fandom in a nutshell. Fandom in a
Mm,
nutshell is seeking out problems, seeking out
right.
confrontation, contention. That's just like the whole. I mean, that's just sports. You're seeking out
That's true.
competition, are you not? I mean, yeah, someone already commented Kelvin Banks. Yeah, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. But yeah,
Well, that's. I mean, I
draft
also
day.
like. I like, every now and then. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's draft week, buddy.
Oh yeah, draft week is upon us, and I'm excited, man. It feels like I feel like the draft takes too long. Like I feel like it needs to be a little sooner. Like in the process, like maybe sometime in March. I was thinking about this the other day because it takes so long. It gets to the point where because players talk about this, it gets to the point where like we talk about like remember Luther Burden was like easily like other than Tet was like the number one receiver. Like everyone was like or number two receiver. And now it's like he might not even be a first rounder. And I feel like we just let the narratives go for too long. And I mean, I don't know, the teams I guess appreciate it, but I'm impatient and I want shit to keep going. I'm ready to go.
It's very easy for us on our couches to be like, why is the draft in April?
Yeah.
Why is it not
Yeah.
right after
Why
the
is it not in
Super Bowl?
February? Yeah,
Yeah,
like right after the
why is
Super
it
Bowl.
not the week after the Super Bowl? But I know that Nick Caserio and every other GM in front office is like, I wish we had more time. How about that? They're
Yeah.
like, I don't know, because like they're about to make some of their jobs depend on this draft. I mean,
Yeah.
some of these
For
GMs,
sure.
like you have a bad draft, it'll be remembered in history. You have a
Hmm.
bad first round pick, a bust, everyone's going to remember you taking that pick,
Yeah,
and you
it's
might get
true.
fired from it. So this is a big week for all the front offices involved. So
Yeah,
they're probably embracing the long wait.
that's true. That's true. But luckily, Casario isn't on any type of hot seat. I mean, sitting pretty high.
No, he's the man.
As
He's the
no,
man.
dude, he's sitting so high that last offseason they were like, "You're the GM, but we're also going to make you the vice president of the Houston Texans."
Yeah,
Like they love Nick over there.
he's got a good face. He's got
Yeah.
pythons. He's always like
Hmm.
on the field hanging out with the players. Allegedly in Lovey Smith's ear, or David Coley's ear, whoever it was.
Let me
Uh,
tell you, I'm
I mean,
happy
yeah,
about that.
this guy's done wonders. This guy's done
Yeah.
everything.
I
He
would
could
much
coach.
rather have Nick Casario coach my football team than David Culley any day of the week.
Oh,
Any day.
oh my God! I can't believe
Yeah.
that was even. We had. Are you telling me we had David Coley and Nick Caserio, and we were letting David Coley coach?
Yeah,
We're making
right.
some wrong. Yeah, I mean, we made a lot of wrong decisions, but
Yeah,
yeah, no,
but it
he's
led
the
us to
man.
where we are right now. It led us to where we are right now, where we're sitting pretty. We've been to the playoffs 2 years in a row, been to the divisional round 2 years in a row. We're sitting here with the 25th overall pick, which come draft season, it gets kind of boring whenever you have not boring, but it's like, everyone talks about the top 10, but it's a blessing to not be in the top 10 anymore. And it's been exciting, and we definitely have the needs, but, it's interesting because Nick Casario, we talked about this a little bit before. Nick Casario mentioned the other day that the Texans don't draft for need. Casario is purely a best player available type guy,
Yeah,
which is very interesting to note going into this draft, because does that mean that if we're sitting at 25 and a guy like Colston Loveland's available, that it's like throw offensive line needs out the window? I mean, I guess that's kind of throwing wide receiver to the side, but even though he's a pass catcher, but what does that mean for guys that are available? Like Colston Loveland is if some safety that we love is available, we're going to grab him and just keep building that secondary.
that is interesting because as someone already said, Jacob Hat in chat, he said Texans need an O line. It's yeah, they've. I mean, if there's any glaring problem with the Texans roster right now, it's obviously O line. But Nick saying that the other day, I mean, he might have that philosophy already in place, or he might just, be setting a smoke screen. Who knows? But I think what they think is any best player available, if the best player available is actually the best player available and they can elevate their team and make them better instead of, picking some offensive lineman that may or may not work out, because we've seen that before. Yeah, I could
Yeah.
definitely see that happening. If Colston Loveland, who is arguably tight end one in this draft,
Yeah.
if he's available at we have 25, right? If he's available at
Hmm.
25, yeah, I mean, I can see them being like, we can wait for Tyler Booker, maybe trade up for him in the second round.
Yeah.
Tight end one is right there, and he can elevate our team, and that's exactly a guy that we're looking for. So yeah, no,
Hmm.
I can definitely see that philosophy being played out, and not even a smokescreen at all, or it could be a
But
smokescreen. Nick is
yeah.
he's very deceitful. He's a very deceitful man. He's kind of like a witch man.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because also in the same, I mean, it might have been the same press conference. He looked at the media with a like straight face and
He's got a
said,
poker
"Wait, I
face.
don't, I don't feel like we, yeah." He said, "I don't feel like we need to draft the offensive lineman and then next week or whenever it was." He was like, "We don't need to." I was like, "All right, pump the brakes a little bit there, pump
I
them
mean,
a
saying we don't
tad."
need to, that sounds like a smokescreen to me. Because
Yeah, right. Well,
yeah,
exactly.
no, duh, they need
He's
one.
not trying to put his cards out in front of everyone. But the thing is, it's like, why would you even say that when it's something so preposterous? Like, yes, you do. Like, I look, I like
He's a
Lakin
witch man.
Tomlinson and Cam Robinson or whoever we picked up. Like, these guys could, rejuvenate their careers a little bit under Nick Haley, but like to say we don't even need to. It's like, yeah, CJ Stroud got sacked 52 times last year. If you don't draft someone, there's gonna be there's gonna be a lot of questions.
Gonna be problems over
So
there on Kirby Road. Be some problems.
yeah,
I mean, there's gonna
yeah,
be some major regression going on.
hmm,
Maybe talks of the Texans not even being contenders, if that is the case. But I fully think that if there's a number of guys available at 25, offensive linemen, Nick will not hesitate to take them. There's a few of them that you're telling me off camera that they really like. I think Albert Beer. You said Albert Beer tweeted something earlier.
Albert Breer, he not about a specific player, but Albert Breer, he does like a newsletter. I think probably the beginning of every draft week, dropping tidbits from just a bunch of teams and things he's heard around the league. And mentioning the Texans, he said that he's heard that the Texans are very interested and they're sniffing around trading back up into the first round. So, and I don't know what that looks like. And let's talk about that for a second, because that's obviously would be a huge deal. Would that be a situation where before we even get to 25, right? Like, but let's say we're at, let's say Tyler Booker, maybe they think someone's going to grab him. Do they trade up to 14? They trade up to 13 to try to grab, in that range. And then we're sitting there at 25 waiting for an Agbuka or a Golden to maybe drop, or a Burden or a Colston Loveland. Or does that mean we're going to trade up into the 30 to 32 range with, the Eagles or the Bills or the Chiefs? But we know Nick is no stranger to trading up. So, I mean, obviously it would be exciting, especially draft night, that moment where you get the notification, that, oh, we're trading up. But, I think it's very, very possible that Nick has his eye on multiple guys in the first round, and we know he'll do he's gotten some picks this offseason in the Tunsil trade. He's made some moves. We have some draft capital that he can work with. So I think it's possible. I think it's very possible.
Don't definitely. And I kind of think that because I also saw a tweet that was saying that the Texans would not. I mean, they love Kelvin Banks Jr. They love Kelvin Banks Jr. out of Texas. That's one of their targets. And I've seen. I mean, I'm looking at this draft board right now, updated 13 hours ago, or 15 hours ago before this
Yeah.
recording. He's number 13 on the draft board. So we can expect him to maybe get picked up in the teens area in the middle of the
Yeah.
first round. Maybe that's where we trade up to. Maybe we
Yeah.
trade up with a team that it doesn't really need a tackle, and we grab Kelvin Banks. I feel like that is one of the more likely situations, because they're kind of playing coy. They've been playing coy on tackle ever since they traded Tunsil. Been
Yeah.
very coy about, we need tackle. Nick, the other day, you said with a poker face, was like, no, yeah, we don't. We're fine. We're cool. We're chilling.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
That's a lie, Nick. We're not
Yeah.
showing. So I feel like that is a likely thing. But there are a few guys that like Connerly,
Mm.
Josh
Out of Oregon,
Simmons
right?
out of Ohio State, who's
Yeah.
got questionable medicals, but that's
But
like
something came
not
out
for
the
me to
other day.
figure out.
This is interesting about Josh Simmons is the other day, which this might have come from his agent, so you might have to take it with a grain of salt. But he redid his medicals, and it's looking a lot better. It's whatever he had was healing up or coming together, or maybe it wasn't as bad as originally thought. That might have come from his camp, so of course they're going to say anything to make sure. But also it's kind of hard to lie about that when he's taking physicals and teams have access to this. So Josh Simmons is a guy who, if he didn't have that injury, he would be a big time target for the Texans. So
Oh,
if that
absolutely.
injury is cleared up, if it's not as bad as originally thought, I have no issue. If the Texans do their research or do their homework on that and say, hey, this guy is actually, I think we think he's going to be just fine. That's a name to keep an eye on. But Kelvin Banks is obviously someone who, yeah, the chatter is that they love him. And he's probably not going to play tackle right away. That's the only thing. He's probably going to start at guard theoretically and then transition to tackle after maybe Titus's contract or Blake Fisher just can't. If we find out he just can't do it, but I think that's great. I think it's a lot of value. You get a guard now and your tackle for the future. I think that would be incredible.
Oh, absolutely. Or you go for a guy who can maybe play all over the place, like Gray Zabel. Gray Zabel's
Mm-hmm.
getting a ton of first round buzz. I've
Yeah,
seen him mocked as early as like 15,
yeah,
which I would be. I mean, that sucks if we don't. If that would suck if like there's a huge run on first round offensive linemen, and we're
yeah.
left with shit, and we can't trade up and get someone. I think
Sure.
at that point, that is like, okay, we'll take Ibuka or something, or okay,
Right.
we'll
Well, but
take Matthew
also,
Bolton.
but if there starts to be a run at offensive linemen, that's when I know Nick will go, all right, let's pull the trigger. Let's send a second to whoever, like whoever's somewhere in the mid teens. Let's send a second and maybe a sixth or whatever we need to do to move up. Maybe might actually it would probably it'd be quite a bit to move up to that. So maybe like a second. It might have to be a second next year.
I mean,
Something like
it
that.
could be depending on what pick it is and who is available right there. It could be a first next year.
Yeah.
Depending on how far we want to move up.
Mm-hmm.
I know that last year when we traded back in the draft, the Vikings just gave us their second, and we were cool with
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a later pick. But if we
Yeah.
wanted to trade up to, let's say, like we want to jump the Colts and at 14 and try to get up above there, whoever's gonna, if we're trying to trade up with Miami or something, I don't think they trade back. But just for, for example,
Who's drafting? Who's drafting before the Colts are at 14, right?
Colts are at 14. Yes, I
Who's drafting
don't.
before them?
Um.
Do you have the order?
Oh yeah, I have it. It goes at Bears at 10, San Fran at 11, Dallas Cowboys at 12, Miami Dolphins at 13. So there's no. I mean, they could all. I mean, obviously, all of them could use some help, some kind of help at offensive line, but
Yeah.
I mean, if we were trying to jump, like say the Colts and try to get like a Kelvin Banks Jr. or something, or whoever, like yeah, the price will be pretty high on that. So
Yeah.
maybe, like you said mentioned before, the trading back or trading up in the first round is like we do two first round picks. Maybe we trade our
Yeah.
second and whatever, and trade back up with like Eagles pick and get Tyler Booker at 32 or something instead of him slipping into the second round. That would be huge if we were
Yeah.
able to get someone, I don't know, Colston Loveland, for example, and then trade back up and get Tyler Booker. That'd be A+ first
Mm-hmm.
round. That'd be A+ from
Yeah.
first round from
Yeah.
Mr.
That would
Nicholas.
be that would be fucking incredible.
I mean, that'd be
And then
great.
you grab a receiver in the second. That would
Yeah.
be
Or get
or
like
a third or
imagine if
wherever.
like Jaden Higgins fell to you in the second.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
woo, buddy.
Man.
I'm getting hot over here. I'm getting hot and sweaty
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Don't all right. Don't get all hot and sweaty on us.
It's
man.
hot in
We
the
still got-
studio. It's hot in
Oh.
the studio.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Hey,
But
turn off the
also, I
AC.
mean,
You
that
don't have
would
to
be
tell us about
hot.
your sweat.
That would be
Um.
hot getting that kind of draft. That'd be hot.
Yeah. Well, and so I mean, I'll tell you, look, I've been like this all off season, and my thoughts have changed. Obviously, towards the beginning of the offseason, I was very, very adamant about a first round receiver. Very adamant. I still prefer it. I still prefer it. I still think, I mean, unless they think Emeka Egbuka is going to drop to the second, which
There's no way.
I don't think so. But also, there's chatter that people don't like him that much, right? There is chatter that he could fall, but also there's just a lot of wide receiver needy teams. Obviously, the wide receiver position is one of the most important in football and one of the flashiest and one of the most exciting. So of course, there's going to be a run at some point. Now, a guy like Matthew Golden, look, you know what pisses me off? I do this PFF mock draft simulator. I assume you do too.
Yeah,
and
it's bullshit.
It's sometimes I'm like, can we please? Like, I did it today. I was gonna do one before the show just to like refresh. I opened it up. I immediately closed it out. They said Ted McMillan 2 to the Browns. Get the fuck out of here.
No way.
No, that's what I'm saying.
No
like,
way,
I'm like,
Jose.
that's just not worth my time. It just wasted. And Golden's available. I'm like, no, Golden's going to be available at 25. I mean, I cross my fingers. I cross my absolute fingers that he will. But the PFF mock draft, like, I get you don't want it to be the same every time, but it's pretty clear who's going 1. It's Cam Ward. I actually think it's pretty clear who's going 2 at this point. It's going to be Travis Hunter. And and it annoys the hell out of me. But it gives me hope. I'm like, wait, is there chatter that Matthew Golden's going to be? No, Matthew Golden's going to go 15. Now, maybe that's the guy we trade up for. Maybe Casario.
That'd be a little egregious. To trade up in the first round and then get a receiver. I feel like that's so egregious.
I don't think that's egregious. If you like the guy and it's a need.
I mean, is it a need? Is it more of a
wide
need
receiver?
Yeah, but we have Nico Collins, we have Christian Kirk. I know everyone's gonna be like, "Whoa, you're Christian Kirk." The guy said Christian Kirk. Bro said Christian Kirk. Yeah, I said Christian Kirk.
I love Christian Kirk. I'm not going to say that.
He's a valuable number 2.
But we need that third. We need the third.
Yeah,
and it's ideal to have a young rookie be that third. Be your Christian Kirk in the slot, Nico as your wide receiver 1, and you have the other third guy on the outside. We need someone there. It's not going to be John Mechie. It's not going to be shout out to Xavier Hutchinson. I don't think that's his position right now. I don't think that's his role.
I think sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, but I'm just saying I think it is a need. And I think if Golden is falling and they feel like they can trade up and then they can grab Tyler Booker or someone equal to that at 25, and we lose some later round picks or next year's picks, I think if you grab Tyler Booker and Matthew Golden in the first round, that's an A++ fucking round.
Yeah, that is, for sure. I just don't want to leave the first round trading up, losing some picks to get a receiver who undeniably will be a great receiver. I think Matthew Golden's fantastic, but we could have, I'm looking at, I'd rather trade up and get a guy like Colston Loveland, like
I'm
Tyler
not opposed
Warren.
To that. Yeah.
That's more of in my opinion, a tight end is more of a need than wide receiver. I was gonna say anything defensive, but there's no. We're good. I'm looking at that defense. I'm like, we're fine.
This won't happen, but I wouldn't I would be okay with there not being a single defensive pick in this draft.
Ooh, I want
our defense
depth.
We have sure. Of course, it is a little egregious. Like, that would never happen. But I would be okay with it because we have depth. Dude, our defense is so goddamn stacked. It's insane. Maybe not really. I was going to say linebacker, but not with the defense of D'Amico runs. Like, we have Christian Harris. We have Aziz. We have Henry To'oTo'o. We have depth everywhere.
I'll tell you right now. If Jahad Campbell
in the playoffs last year.
I'll tell you right now, if Jahad Campbell is at 25, we're taking him. We're taking a Bama linebacker.
I think you're right. Oh man, no, dude, I'd be pissed if we.
Wouldn't hate it because he fell to 25. I'd be like, dude, we got value.
But with all the things that we need on our offense, with our offense being pretty atrocious. Like I'd be like, it would be like, hey, D'Amico, you're good, man. You have CJ Gardner-Johnson back there now. You just signed Jalen. Like, you're good. You have Azeez Al-Shaair. You have all your boys. Like, you're good. We need
the Bama meat writing at that point would be pretty extreme. I'd be like, dude, I get it. You went to Bama. We love Bama. Tough, hard-nosed program over there. We don't need them. we don't need them. Like,
yeah.
Brandon Holland said, Walter Nolan. Yeah, I mean, if Walter Nolan fell to 25, they'd probably be like, yeah, we need defensive tackle. Yeah, so I mean, defense is really going to come at best player available, I think. Yeah. Offense is going to come at, all right, you need to do some strategic planning, play chess, not checkers, and like try to swindle our way out of like getting some starting offensive linemen and some starting receivers and maybe some starting tight ends. Maybe I kind of think, thinking about it now, I kind of think that tight end might be we might be out on tight ends because we re-signed Irv Smith Jr. to a 1-year deal the other day. So
I think they're going to give Dalton another year. I think in Nick Haley's offense, I think they're going to give him another year to see if he can get back to what he was even a little bit. We have Brevin Jordan for another year. Cade Stover was drafted last year. I think Colston, if they're in a position to get Tyler Warren or Colston Loveland, I think they might pull the trigger. But I don't think if we don't get those guys, I don't see us probably getting a tight end. Scott Robinson says something funny, and this is true. Texans have more offensive needs than defensive ends. Like, dude, we have 12 defensive ends, dude, on this team, and we have many issues on the offense. Like,
if we got like an edge rusher, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, dude.
Yeah. That's where I feel about Walter Nolan too. Like, we have defensive tackles out the ass. Like, we don't.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a defensive lineman in the first round, it's egregious. I said trading up for receivers is egregious. Getting a defensive lineman in the first round, that's the most egregious thing we can possibly do. Yeah. Like, we're good, we're fine, guys. Let's get off of the defensive line for a little bit. Let's realign our focus to other things. I
guess if you wanted to draft, I guess if they got a safety to maybe like replace CJ Gardner-Johnson whenever he leaves, maybe.
I can see a safety later. I can see a corner later. I can see linebacker later. But I think the first 3 rounds will be reserved for.
They need to be.
What do we need, and who is it on offense, right? I think that's ultimately what it's going to be. And like I said, I think I'll give my official first round prediction right now. I think we're going to try to target Kelvin Banks Jr. I think we fucking love him. Everything I've heard, they will not pass on the guy. In fact, they actually want to trade up for the guy. I think Nick is going to execute that trade. I think we're going to get up there somehow and get Kelvin Banks Jr., which I would love. Hello, UT, Texas Tough, go Horns. I mean, I'm not.
I'm all for. I'm all for that. I love that pick. And if you, like you mentioned, if Nick goes and trades up, right, and does that, this is my dream scenario. Being a Longhorn fan, okay, trade up to whatever, to say 13, just whatever, to get Kelvin Banks, get right in front of the Colts, piss them off, get Kelvin Banks, Matthew Golden somehow, some way, maybe he got a speeding ticket or something on the way to the draft, falls down the draft board, we get him at 25, we get my 2 UT boys in the first round. Oh my God. I'd be over fucking joyed. I
would be too. That'd be pretty incredible. It'd be pretty miraculous. That would literally be like Kevin Costner on draft day. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In fact, you would never do this. This would never happen. That would never happen, Noah. But that'd be cool.
Yeah, I know. Kelvin Banks, no matter what.
Well, tell me what you think is going to happen in the first round for the Texans, and then we'll kind of maybe talk about a trade up again, and then go directly to the second round. But what do you think is going to happen in the first round for the Texans officially?
I'm gonna be conservative here, and I'm just gonna say that the Texans stick to 1 pick in the first round. No crazy trade ups.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna be Tyler Booker. It's gonna be Tyler Booker. Tyler Booker, one, is a Bama boy, so we know how much D'Amico loves that. We know him and Will Anderson are best friends. They've talked about it. They're very close. And the thing about Tyler Booker is he's a guy who, people question his athleticism. That's like the big knock. They say he's not super athletic. But here's the deal. He has been a dominant starter at Alabama in the SEC for like 3 seasons. I don't care what you got. If you're able to do that, if you're able to be a dominant player, a dominant guard in the SEC, you got what it takes. So I don't want to hear about any of that shit. I honestly think Tyler Booker is probably the best. I think he's probably the best guard available. I think he's the best pure guard available. Now, maybe Kelvin Banks might be a little bit better as a whole, but he's, a tackle. He might play guard depending on where he goes. If he goes to the Texans, he'll probably play guard. But I think Tyler Booker is the best, probably pure guard that's going to be available for the Texans at all. So
no, I don't want to pick on you. I don't want to pick on you right now. But everything you just said about Tyler Booker kind of sounds like what everyone was saying about Kenyon Green when he was coming out of A&M. Like, maybe not the most athletic, but he was a starter in the SEC, and he does the thing. It's like, I feel like,
a good point.
I kind of feel like Booker might slide into the early second round. I think it's going to be like a Cam Robinson thing, which, funny enough, he's on our team now. Everyone says he's a first-round talent. Oh, he's from Bama. Oh, this, that. He slides into the second round, and someone grabs him right in the beginning of the second round. I can see that happening. I actually think I like Gray Zabel more than Tyler Booker. Gray Zabel seems like a straight shooter. Mustache. I'm not just saying that because he has a mustache too. I'm just saying, like, he has little to no problems. I know he was North Dakota. I know that. Not a big school, not a lot of competition.
Right.
But he's never been
kicked ass at the Senior Bowl. He was Senior Bowl at Player of the Week or something.
No, he's a big dog. He's a big dog. Yeah. If we can get Gray Zabel at 25, I love that. And if it's Tyler Booker at 25, okay, yeah, I'll be happy with that, sure, because we're addressing a need, and he's from Bama, and I have optimism for that. But I could see him slide into the second. What if we jumped up in the second, grabbed Tyler Booker? So boom, we got Tyler Booker. You know how like people traded up in the second? I think the Saints traded up in the second and got Kool-Aid McKinstry. Someone traded up in the second this past year and got a player that we wanted. We could be that team. We can be
that team.
And we could be that mistake.
Yeah. Look, I love Zabel. Like, I would not be upset about Zabel at all. I think him and Booker are very close. They're like 1A, 1B for the Texans. There's guards that are probably better, but they're not going to be available. Like, at 25, Tyler Booker and Zabel are pretty much on the same tier for me. Now, if we want to get crazy, we want to go mustache boys, we want to go like rednecks from the swamps or whatever, we get Zabel, okay, in the first, and then get a receiver or something in the second, and then grab Tate Ratledge out of Georgia in the third.
I like it.
Those boys. Those are some Ben Jones type boys that we'll have on our line.
I don't know if Ratledge will be available in the third. He might slip into the third, but we're pretty late third. Yeah. I don't know if he'll be available around then, because I think everyone's going to be like, I want Swamp Boys. I want the Hunting Boys on my team. That's what kind of everyone sees the Detroit Lions, and they want to do that. But I think if we could probably grab Ratledge, it might be a reach to grab him where we are in the second, but I wouldn't hate it. I'd be like, hey,
I think he's good. I don't know if I'd want to use this. I just don't know if I want to use 2 back-to-back picks on an offensive lineman. I'd be okay.
By the way, if we're talking about second round, we have 58 in the second round.
Okay. Yeah. I don't want to do like a guard in the first and a guard in the second. I think we have a lot of offensive needs that are not offensive line as well. And with all of the guys we've brought in, I don't think we need to use our top 2 picks on a guard. I think, like I mentioned, I'm pretty adamant about this receiver thing. We need a new guy, and I think if it's a Egbuka, if it's one of these first round guys, great. If it's Jack Beck out of TCU, I think he's got a lot of potential. I think he's fucking crazy. He looks insane. He's jacked to the gills. And so I wouldn't mind that at all. But I don't want to do like I don't want to do like Booker or Zabel in the first and then Ratledge in the second. I don't want to do that. Now, if
I mean,
Ratledge is available in
I
the
get that.
third, go for it.
I get that. To me, I think you'd be just drafting your 2 starting guards, which I don't hate, but at the same
Yeah.
time, I am in the same boat with you, my friend.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, man, you're kind of neglecting other things. Like even, I mean, I've even seen people mock a running back to us in the second round, which
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't hate, depending on who it is.
Let me tell you, if we got Travion Henderson
Mm-hmm.
in the second,
Yeah, that's who I was thinking.
I would love that. Give Joe Mixon, because look, Mixon is great. I mean, I love Mixon. We love Mixon. But that 1-2 punch, Pierce is great. So he can go in there and knock some heads. He might get 2 yards, but he'll dominate on a little bit and just maybe knock ring someone's bell. But if we can get a guy like Travion, who I'm pretty sure his comp is Joe Mixon. So like if we got Joe Mixon and then new Joe Mixon as our 1-2 punch, and then we use a second round pick on it, all for that. All
Yeah.
for that. No, people aren't talking about running backs enough in Houston, but we have a need there. We really do.
There's certainly something. I mean, I think I love Dameon Pierce, but it still remains to be seen if he could be running back too. In this, maybe it's a new system. Maybe it could be different for him. I don't know. I would rather just be making him full-time return specialist because he seems like he has more fun doing that. I don't know.
Yeah,
He's like
absolutely. I think
every time he
Pierce
has a ball,
should
every
make
time
the team.
every time he does a kick return, I'm like he's having look. It looks like the most fun anyone's ever had. So like make him full-time return specialist. Get your running back too, man. Get your running back too.
Yeah.
That could be just as valuable than a tight end and a receiver if we draft right.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Like, and I think Damien should make the team. Like, I think he absolutely should be returning kicks. He's great at it. It's fun. They're electric. I want someone else to be RB2, and we didn't do much in free agency or anything to bring in any competition, which was interesting. So I think we absolutely drafted a running back. I don't know if it's going to be in the second. It could be fourth or fifth. Master Race 400 is saying Henderson's comp is Gibbs, which is I'm all for that, man. I'll take that.
I love it. I could see him even maybe sneaking up into the late first round if that's the case, because there's some chatter about that. I don't know how likely that is, but how about this, Noah? How about this? After the first round, we do a live show again to talk about day 2 and day 3,
for sure.
because then we'll have a full idea of where we're at. Because right now, talking about who would be available in like the second and third round.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, so right now let's kind of let's back it up back to the first round. You're saying tackle, guard, or maybe receiver. I'm kind of saying the same thing. I think everyone else is saying the same thing. Like that's the guys. Yeah. Or hey, I just really love. I'm a little slut for tight ends, man. I really want Colston Loveland. Really want that guy.
I would love
Colston. Be available.
Yeah.
No way he's gonna be available, but
there's just no way he gets past the Chargers. If he's available for the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh, they're gonna take him. They need a tight end. It's a Michigan guy, so Harbaugh has the connection. It would be a miracle if Colston got to us. And also, man, I fucking want Tyler Warren too. I mean, I want him bad.
Yeah, well, hey,
there's just no way that would be a trade up. That would be like we trade up to 13, 12 and grab Tyler Warren if they love him that much. But there's just no way we would spend that for a tight end right now.
I think Colston Loveland is better than Tyler Warren.
I don't hate that. I think
he's better tight end, but I think he's more of a complete tight end. Well, Tyler Warren has got Ben Johnson written all over him. If the Bears don't go tackle or running back, like people have been saying that they might want to get Ashton Genty, that'd be kind of cool. I could see them grabbing Tyler Warren, and he would be like their Laporta. Just have him, just like have him do everything. Have him do everything in his weird, twisted mind. of an
Mm-hmm.
offense. His twisted mind, psychopathic mind that he practices with. I can see them grabbing Tyler Warren, and then maybe Colston Loveland would be available in the teens. And then you know what? I wouldn't hate to trade up and grab him because I think he's gonna be a star. But there's a lot of options that Nick can do. Nick can do a lot of things with this first round.
Yeah. Well, Nick Haley, he loves his tight ends, so we'll never, he's obviously a former tight ends coach. It was his last gig, so I wouldn't, if he has any say at all, which I sure as hope hell he does, he might be pushing for it. But if I have to make my final prediction for the first round, I say we stick to one pick and we probably grab a guard. That would, if it's Zabel, if it's Booker, I think that's the most likely outcome.
Yeah, that, or maybe they love Simmons. Maybe they say, hey, Simmons is going to be fine medically. Like he's going to be. If Simmons is fine medically, he's going to be good. He's a stud.
Yeah,
and also, I'm pretty sure him and Stroud have played together. I don't know. I don't know if they overlap.
There probably was crossover there at least 1 year. Yeah.
Maybe. Or they'll try to get Kelvin or that guy out of Oregon. What's his name? Josh Connerly. I've seen him mock to us, which if they like him, you know what? I'm just going to trust Nick and D'Amico. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to be like, what do my boys want? And if they say, and with the 25th pick of the 2025 NFL draft, the Houston Texans select Kenneth Grant, Michigan, defensive tackle. I'll be like, okay,
No. Yeah, it's gonna feel like, dude. You know what's so funny is like, you remember in 2022 we had a draft party. We had an Apollo draft party at Cobos, and you remember this? And it was the draft where we got Stingley, and we traded up to I think 14 or something, maybe 15. And we were like, oh shit, are we getting Kyle Hamilton? Like, who is it? Like, who are we? I wanted Kyle Hamilton so bad, and fucking look at what happened.
When Goodell said Kenyon Green, I was like, I don't even know who that is.
Dude,
at the time,
all the energy in the bar full of Texans fans just kind of went, oh, okay.
It gets kind of quiet. It gets kind of quiet so everyone can hear. Yeah. And then there was like no, it just stayed quiet.
Yeah. Well, it's like usually it gets quiet and then they say the pick and everyone's like, yeah. And it was Kenyon Green and everyone went, huh. And look how that fucking turned out. So I guess we all were onto something.
Like, just stick with the plan, man. If you got your plan, stick with it. Except I don't want to be drafting another guard that's going to be like Kenyon Green. That would be,
no, I don't either.
It would be my hell.
That's another thing. Caserio doesn't have the best luck when it comes to offensive linemen. Hopefully he can fix that because we need.
Maybe make your own luck and trade up. Maybe make your own luck. Yeah. Be like, hey, we're not going to get a guy.
We traded up for Kenyon. We traded up for Kenyon.
Did we?
We traded up to 15.
It was 12.
No,
it was 12. We traded up to 12. Are you sure?
No, I couldn't remember.
I think we got that from.
No, we traded up live.
I think we got the Nasty Man trade. No, hold on.
No, we traded up live, man. I'm pretty sure.
Let me look.
Oh, no, we traded down. That's what it was. It was, sorry, the lead Houston just said it. We traded back. So we could have had Jordan Davis or Kyle Hamilton, but we traded back to 15. That's right. And
Philadelphia traded up with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we traded. Houston traded its first round selection, 13th overall, to Philadelphia in exchange for a first, a fourth, 2 fifth-round selections. So we traded down to 15, and we got Kenny on.
That's right. We didn't trade up. That's
and
good.
That first round was from Cleveland originally, from the Nasty Man trade. So, all right, that's right. I was about to say, like, if we traded up, for Kenyon,
no, we didn't trade up. That's right. I forgot. I knew there was movement, but I forgot it was back. But think about that shit though. Jordan Davis or Kyle Hamilton. Imagine Kyle Hamilton on this fucking team right now.
Oh no, I do it a lot. I do it a lot because I really wanted him. I really wanted him at 3 that year.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm very happy we got Sting, but I was happy.
Even though at the time, I mean, we can admit it. Admittedly, we were like, "Wow, not Sauce Gardner, really?" Oh, yeah, wow, okay. But I mean, very obviously, very happy with the pick. just whatever happened after that, I don't know. I don't know what they're. I think maybe they're like, well, we need a guard. Let's just trade back that.
Yeah.
Let's trade down. I don't know. I don't know what they're.
But apparently, but then does Nick?
No
So
thank
Nick does Nick draft for need, or did they really just have Kenyon Green graded that high? And that if they did, that's what worries me about
that man.
Casario's.
That man.
We'll see. We'll see.
That man. He's hard to read. He's hard to read.
Yeah,
he's like a book without words. You know. I'm just like I don't know. I don't know what's going on in that.
It's just a book written in wingdings, you know. It's just like that font no one knows. It's just
It's like chicken scrabble. It's like I can't read that, but that's Casario's mind. He's a complex man.
I want to make one more point because yesterday the team, obviously we haven't talked about this, but the team was the first day of OTAs. They all got back in the building yesterday. Good to see them back. They did a press conference. D'Amico spoke. Will Anderson spoke. CJ spoke. And, all offseason, we've been talking about this CJ Stroud, Emeka Egbuka connection and how, they know each other. They're friends. CJ's going to want him, and it's going to be great. Someone asked CJ, and I thought this was interesting. Someone asked CJ, what's your relationship with Emeka Egbuka? Because obviously he's available and could join the team. His answer was not that. He was like, yeah, CJ was like, yeah, well, he's a man of God, so I appreciate that. And over the years you kind of lose touch. But he was a teammate of mine, so he's a brother for life. And he just didn't have, and it was like he just didn't seem to care at all. It was interesting.
Maybe he's acting. Maybe he's acting his ass off. Maybe he's like. I mean, that's an obvious question. That's going to feed into what the Texans might be doing in the first round because Emeka Egbuka has been mocked to us by a million zillion people. Maybe he had to play coy. Maybe he had to be a little deceitful, like his dad Nick, like his father.
Well, that's another thing. Someone asked him about the Tunsil trade, and he also seemed a little. I don't want to say butthurt, but Shaq Mason. He mentioned that Shaq Mason and Laramie Tunsil were his two best friends on the team. And he was like, I understand it's a business. It was I was bummed out about it. But then he mentioned, but the thing I've learned about Nick, and he's gained my respect because no matter what, he always has a plan. So he said, Nick always has a plan. So, it's good to know that there's something set up. Nick's got some stuff cooking.
Upon hearing that at first, I was like, oh, dude, they traded his boys. No. But at the same time, I'm like, shit happens. Hey, shit rolls downhill, and you can't stop gravity. It's a business, baby. I like the New England answers. I think Nick is like, hey, I think media training is in effect this offseason. He's like, hey, also, you know what? It was raining really hard that day. Maybe he got rained on. And he was like, it's a nasty day outside. I don't want to drive in this. Use some traffic in the rain. It's hard to see. Maybe that.
And and he still showed up to OTA. Look at that.
It's not even mandatory.
And if CJ Stroud, who I guarantee you probably lives in Memorial or something, you better drive to work. It's like 15 minutes.
Oh, dude, if it was like a Aaron Rodgers type situation where he's like, I'm traveling, I'm gonna screw
Dude, let me tell you, if when OTA started, if CJ was like, sorry, I'm in Paris, I'm doing some fashion week thing, I would be very, very upset. I'd be very upset.
Yeah, I'd be mad. I'd be like, nuh-uh.
No, we're not doing this.
Sophomore slump. You remember that?
And until the Texans win a Super Bowl, I want Texans only gear. Texans hoodie, Texans beanie, red and blue shoes.
Well, that's not gonna
happen. I don't want. I mean, game day fits, sure, but I don't need to see no red carpets. I don't need to see any Joe Burrow. Look, I love Joe, and he deserves. He can do whatever he wants. He's Joe Burrow. Look at the year he just had. But he was in Paris doing something with Adidas, and I don't know. I was like, I'm happy that CJ's not doing that yet. If CJ throws 5,000 yards and 47,000 touchdowns and has a year similar to what Joe Burrow just had, you can. But right now, lock in. Let's get to work.
Yeah, no, and I kind of get that vibe this offseason. It's, the criticism they got last offseason, before the draft, leading up the draft and after the draft, they're like, oh, they're all on podcasts all the time. Oh, he's like, oh, he's fucking hanging out with Mika Parsons and doing sumo wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he was on his little victory tour. He's a 21-year-old guy who just won Rookie of the Year, had one of the best rookie seasons of all time, turned around an entire franchise that was in the dumpster. Yeah, he can go do sumo wrestler stuff. Yeah, but this time it is different.
It's funny that's what you mentioned out of that. Like, he can go do sumo wrestling.
That's just what I remember seeing that. I'm like, that's okay. Hey, he's
fun.
He's at least he's getting some gains in, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Being active,
he's working. Yeah.
Being active, he's not Twitch streaming. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like
CJ.
Yeah, no, I think this offseason is like, all right, locked in. Had a kind of a weird finish to last season. This season's going to be, and then even leading up to this draft, they're like, Nick, poker face, we don't need offensive linemen. Looking at the fucking, looking at the press, like looking at the press like they're idiots. Like, say something, bitches, say something.
Yeah. I love that clip of Caserio that I sent the other day, and one of the reporters is like, we won't bring up any mistakes that you made. I don't want to bring any mistakes. And he goes, well, you fucking talk about it all the time.
Talk about it all the time. Yeah.
He dropped the fucking, and I was like, all right, Nick.
Yeah, he dropped the.
And he laughed
afterwards.
Like,
I think he's locked in. He's locked in. He's not.
This is Nick. Yeah, this should be every GM's probably favorite time of the year. The draft is so fun for GMs. Probably, it's just when everything comes together. The whole year, because scouts are always scouting. The scouting department's always working. During the season, they're at fucking college, whatever they're doing. It's like the culmination of just everything that they've worked on all year. So he's probably locked in and having a good time. And we're sitting here, 2 days away? 2 days and a few hours until the first round commences of the NFL draft.
What you're talking about is probably the GM's like favorite day, or they probably have so much fun. Who's probably not going to have fun? He's probably not having fun right now. And the day of the draft, he's probably like, fuck, is like whoever the Giants GM is, got just.
No, Joe Schoen.
Just mercifully ridiculed. Just relentlessly ridiculed. And he's got number 3.
Yeah.
Like,
mercilessly.
They're not getting a quarterback. It's pretty obvious. Like, Travis Hunter's probably going to be gone by then. You get anyone you get is just gonna be. They should just say fucking get Ashton Genty at 3.
That's what I've been saying. If you want to make a splash, which he desperately needs, man, he's got to win this fan base back somehow. If they just draft Ashton Genty, I think a lot of people would just be excited about it. And look, because they're gonna sit here and they're not gonna get Shador. They have Russell Wilson and Jameis in that quarterback room. It's gonna be hell. It's gonna be hellish football to watch. I hope for the Giants' sake that the fans, they start Jameis just so at least it's interesting and fun. But yeah, like if they get an offensive lineman, people are gonna be like, okay, that's fine. They might get a guy like that, but if they get Ashton Genty, or if they're able to pull off a Travis Hunter move or something exciting, I think that would
Travis Hunter falling to them would be. Joe Schoen would be like, all right, I finally did something. Or like you said, just grab Ashton Genty, except that would be such a jackass. He would look like a jackass letting Saquon walk, and he has one of the best seasons a running back has ever had. And he's like, all right, we'll watch this. He gets Ashton Genty out of Boise State with 3. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah. And then watch Ashton.
Yeah, no, dude, imagine he just like puts up like 800 yards. Like 3 yards a carry his rookie season. It's like, well, that was not what we wanted out of you. You're not Saquon. Oh gosh. Oh man, I love draft day. I love draft week.
Me too. Yeah. I'm very excited. Wednesday night. Tomorrow, at 1, I'm going to the Mets game.
Who are they playing?
And they're playing Phillies. Yeah. I'm going with one of my friends, 2 of my friends from Philly. So it'll be fun. And then after that, I'm gonna come home, gonna sit down on the couch. I'm gonna turn on draft day, and I'm gonna watch Kevin Costner cook. And then it's fully draft.
When I was 14, I really liked that movie.
When I'm 25 years old, as I'm sitting here now, I really like that
Yeah,
movie.
it's just I wish it was written better. Like it feels like the writers have
Yeah,
never seen a football
it's
game in their life, and I'm like, it's just
no,
it's preposterous.
yeah,
Everything's
no. Some of
blasphemous.
it's
I'm like, this is
ridiculous.
absolutely blasphemous.
Yeah, but that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it fun. And Kevin Costner is just like, no matter the script, no, he's
Costner, I
delivering on
watched
all, like,
For
firing on
Love
all
of the Game
cylinders.
the other day. Piece of shit film. Costner,
Yeah,
he's innocent. Him and Sam Raimi both innocent in that movie. Um, Costner, he can make any shitty little script look kind of good, and
well, he just wanted to keep the baseball stuff going. Bull Durham,
yeah,
Field of Dreams.
yeah.
He
Which
just wanted to keep it
like
up.
I don't want to harp on Love of the Game, but I mean, if you take a movie, like think about this, Noah, I don't know if you've seen it. He plays the pitcher, the ace veteran pitcher. His catcher
Hmm.
is John C. Riley, and they're like best
Yeah,
friends.
it should be a
Their
perfect movie.
manager, their head coach, he's goddamn J.K. Simmons with a stash. Like Sam
And
Raimi
Sam Raimi
directed this movie,
directed.
and yeah, it's a piece
Wow.
of shit. I was like, how do you miss
Yeah,
on this kind of opportunity? Anyways,
that's a bummer.
anyways, let's
God, that's
let's
crazy. I didn't know John C. Riley was the
yeah,
catcher.
no, he's like
That's
shakes them
awesome,
off
man.
and stuff. Like they're best friends. They're cool. Um, let's
Yeah,
shout out our buddies. Let's shout out our buddies.
yeah.
Get on out of here.
Let's we just want to thank our sponsors, Big City Wings. Gary, you been over to Big
I
City Wings
have,
lately? You been
yes,
down in
I
those
had. I
wings?
tried their new gosh, I'm blanking on the sauce. They have a new sauce. It's like a honey golden pepper. Like a
Oh,
honey golden pepper. It's like a
oh,
sweeter
oof.
golden pepper. Yeah, or remember like
Lemon
yeah, it's
pepper.
like a baker's gold lemon pepper type of yeah, but
Okay.
I mean I had it on
Mm.
boneless wings.
Oh, that
So
sounds
good.
incredible.
So good. So good.
Mm. Sounds amazing. Yeah, I wish I was in Houston to be able to go hit Big City Wings
Mhm.
during the draft. I think it'd probably be they're gonna have the audio on for the draft, and it's a great place to go and be surrounded by other Texans fans. So thanks
Yeah.
so much, Big City
And
Wings,
you know who
for helping
yeah,
out.
you know
And
what I'm gonna be
Zing
drinking
Zang.
during the draft?
Oh, what's
Little
that?
Zing Zang Bloody Mary mix. We have all
Ooh,
kinds of options over here. We have just the mix. You can mix with any kind of vodka you want. This is actually the Michelada mix.
is that
So they
Michelada?
just came out with this, and this is
Ooh,
the blazing pre-made canned Bloody Marys with 9% alcohol, real vodka in here. Zang responsibly
yeah.
because you can have a little fun with these. And
Yeah, the Zing Zang, the pre-made with the vodka, those 9%ers. We've had some fun with
oh yeah,
those in the past. So thank you so much to Zing Zang and Big City Wings for sponsoring off the Gridiron. And guys, if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like and subscribe. Let us know that you like what we're doing. Make sure you obviously stay in touch with the YouTube channel because after the draft, we're gonna go live, and then we'll every single day of the draft we'll be covering the draft on the YouTube channel and also over on Apollo Texans on X/Twitter. And make sure you follow Apollo HOU on Twitter as well and on all the other social media platforms to keep up with everything Houston sports related. Big time in Houston. We got the draft coming up, got the Astros playing well. We got the Rockets in the playoffs. We got game 2 coming up tomorrow night. It's going to be really exciting. I might have to actually move my draft day screening to after the
yeah,
Rockets game because I
You
got to
can't
make sure I'm
overlap
dialed in.
Kevin and the
Yeah.
boys. It's just like a
Yeah.
lot.
And Arian Foster, by the way. Arian Foster's in
Yeah,
draft day
he
as well.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
they traded up back in the first round and got him. Like he was cold in FSU or whatever he
Yeah.
went in that school. You know what they showed?
Yeah, he was great.
Before we go, fun fact. You know all that game footage they showed of Arian Foster's character, like running. It was
Mhm.
game footage of the fullback Greg Jones, who played for the Texans in 2013.
Really? Why didn't they just use Arian
Because
Foster
I don't know.
footage? That just seems if you're gonna take a footage of a guy from the Texans in 2013,
It's
why
also
not just
funny
do
they
Arian
used a
Foster?
fullback like running around.
Yeah,
Like,
that just doesn't. God
yeah,
damn
I
it, that
don't
movie
know.
sucks. That movie's
I
stupid. But it's fun. It's just like
yeah,
it's fun.
we have it's a fun movie. Whatever.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you all so much for watching once again, and stay dialed in. We're going to be covering the draft, and we're excited about it. It's going to be a fun time, and let's hope for the best. Let's hope for some wild moves, some value picks, and just keep building up the future of this team.
Yes, sir. And I got one word for
All
you,
right,
two
guys.
words for you. Watch Texans. Go Texans. Watch
the
draft. See you, boys and girls. Bye.
Yeah.